We recording? All right, we're recording. Great. Hey, everybody. My name is Tom Timbrooks, Thomas W. Timbrooks, and I was running for a position at the United States House of Representatives. I did not make it with the primary. I didn't get elected in the primary to go on to the next thing, next election in November. So I am supporting the other candidate who did win the primary. His name's David Russ. I'm putting on these weekly shows basically to try to get the message across. I am a Republican. I'm supporting the Republican Party recently. I have been a Democrat in the past. Essentially, I'm a Republican, a Democrat. I believe in following the principles of a party, not necessarily the party itself. As a Republican, I'm probably what Donald Trump would refer to as a rhino, Republican in name only. And I believe that whenever you support a party, you don't actually support the party. You support the party's principles, the party's ideas. And so if that party's ideals and principles like that, if they veer off in a direction that you don't like, then you can switch to a different party whose principles you do like. Example of that, back in the 1980s, when they found out that Ronald Reagan was selling weapons to the Iranians so that he could afford to finance the stuff happening in Central America, I veered off from the Republican Party there, saying, yeah, that's not something that I approve of. And people love Ronald Reagan. I was like, well, yeah, I mean, Reagan's great and everything, but I'm not going to support a party that sells weapons to the enemy so that this fiasco in Central America can take place. So recently, I just don't really support what the Democratic Party is doing for many reasons. I support more of what the conservative Republicans are doing, and This presentation is going to be about some of the things that are being supported by the liberal Democrats that I don't support. They're being supported by the conservative Republicans, and because I support what the conservative Republicans are doing now, presently, I support the Republican Party. I consider myself a Republican. So essentially, what's happening recently? Let me go ahead and start the thing. First of all, that's me. Make Oregon 6th Congressional District America's greatest congressional district. And I love George Carlin. Never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups. That's a George Carlin original, and I love that, man. Growing up with George Carlin's wit and humor, that was greatest part of my life, man. Is growing up around these comedians who understood the truth, who understood honesty and everything. It's great. So anyways, David Russ for Congress, local authority, individual liberty, free market economy, russisforus.com. Go ahead and visit that site. It's a pretty good site. He's got a lot of good ideas, and I'm helping him to develop his YouTube site. And pretty soon we're going to populate that YouTube site with a lot of really good videos. So check that out at some time. And I like to start off, okay, insanity is a mental condition that, number one, prevents a person from being able to distinguish between right and wrong, and number two, prevents a person from understanding consequences to actions. And it's very important to understand both of those criteria need to be met in order for an action to be considered insane. All right. And the reason I mention that is because right now the popular definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And that's actually not the definition of insanity. That is the definition of the scientific method. And that's what scientists, I'm an engineer, I'm a scientist. That's what we do. We create a process and we go over that that process time and time and time again, and we look for variation in the process. So we are actually doing the same thing over and over and over again, and we are anticipating different results, so we can record any kind of variation, the reason for the variation, is it natural, is it any other kind of variation. So, so that is the scientific method. So that is not the definition of insanity. What I just gave you is the definition of insanity. So if anybody says the definition of insanity, just tell them, no, it's not. It's this other thing. So anyways, the core values for a Republican Party: personal liberty and responsibility. That's the individual. Local decision-making for government is preferred over centralized. Limited government. We don't like a whole lot of government. We want to have the minimal amount of government possible, which is, the best. Free market economy, not socialism, not communism. And fiscal responsibility. This is the opposite of fiscal responsibility is not fiscal irresponsibility. It's going to be strategic investment, which this is one of the reasons that I don't hate the Democrats, because where Republicans believe in fiscal responsibility, which basically interpreted means spend the lowest amount of money possible. The Democrats are thinking, well, let's spend some money. Let's spend as much money as we need to. So, like with the space program, most Republicans at the time didn't really think the space program, putting a person on the moon, had any kind of merit. So I probably would have been a Democrat back then. Because I think that programs like that do have merit, and they should be supported by the government. They should be financed by the government. I think things like that are good, but that is strategic investment, and that's what Democrats believe in. So what Republicans do is they say, okay, strategic investment's good, but let's watch the spending. Let's not spend too much in the name of strategic investment. So anyways, so. The nature today I want to talk about, okay, this is Andrea Salinas, if none of you have ever seen her before. And I'm not going to sit here, talking bad things about Andrea Salinas. I don't know her well enough to say anything good or bad about her. I'm not going to impugn her character. I'm not going to say she's a bad person or a great person or anything like that. Instead, I'm going to talk about what she talks about. And in this little slide here, I've got, she's filling her gas tank up, and she says, well, the gas is $7.50 a gallon, and it's the war in Iraq right now, and we need to rein in Trump's ideas about what's happening in Iraq. And you see, the whole thing is, in this particular situation, is there's a bigger picture than what she's talking about. Okay, she's putting everything in simplest possible terms. She's saying you're paying too much at the gas pump because Donald Trump's war in Iraq. And there is an element of truth to that, but there's a bigger picture to that. And I'm going to go over the bigger picture in my slide presentation today. And essentially what it has to do with is we in America, we are the leaders of the free world. And as the leaders of the free world, well, we have to take part as leaders of the free world. Whether we like it or not, we spent the last couple hundred years getting to a point where we are the leaders of the free world, and that has put us in a position of responsibility. Okay, so since we're in a position of responsibility, ultimately we have to sacrifice. Leadership means sacrifice. Leadership means doing things in spite of the fact that it might, the things that we're doing might be unpopular, but that doesn't matter because these are things that need to get done. So I'm gonna go on with my little slideshow. I don't have a script today, so I'll just go off of the slides. So Okay, so why gas prices are high, the most political discussions, because frustration, blame, and immediate consequences. But is that where they should end? And like I'm saying, this is a big picture thing, and no, they shouldn't end there. Well, the common political response is it's their fault. And both sides are saying it's their fault. The Republicans, the Democrats, oh, it's your fault, no, it's your fault. And see, the thing is, leadership requires more than assigning blame. Great leaders, they don't just look for scapegoats, they seek solutions. And this is one of the things that makes me a Republican now, is it seems that the Republicans are looking for solutions rather than excuses. Okay, so symptoms versus the causes. The high gasoline prices are a symptom, and this is what we feel. What causes this symptom? So it's supply disruptions, wars, sanctions, trade policies, shipping routes, and energy production. And in this particular case, looking beyond the pump, the price of the pump reflects events occurring around the world. So you see, we in America tend to think that the rest of the world doesn't actually exist, but it does exist. You remember, I remember, what was it, there was some teenage girl, Miss Teen USA or something like that, and she was asked, why is it most Americans can't find America on a map? And the reason for that, the reason she gives is this long drawn out excuse. The reason that most Americans can't really find America on a map is because most Americans don't really care. You know, it's like, we're already here. You use a map to find a place where you aren't at, a place where you want to go. Everybody in the world wants to come to America. Americans, we're already here. So we don't really need a map to go someplace else. And you see, most Americans, we don't really consider what's happening in the rest of the world. All we care about is when we go down to the corner store, we're paying attention to the price of food, we're paying attention to the price of gas, energy, the infrastructure that's built, the taxes taken out of our paycheck. We are looking at things on a day-to-day basis. We aren't thinking, well, the reason that bananas are so expensive now is because in Central America, where most of the bananas come from, there's some kind of problem or something. We don't consider, and it's not just Americans, it's most people all over the world. Most people in the world don't really consider what's happening halfway around the world because, well, it's, I mean, it's really difficult to imagine that in our minds. So this is what I'm talking about by being the leader of the free world. America really needs, and Americans, we really need to consider what's happening around the world. And halfway around the world, these things do affect the prices in America. And it's very easy to blame one person or one group of people for the problems that we're having in America. But the reality is, this is a world economy. This is the economy of the planet Earth. And gas prices in America aren't just driven by one thing. They're driven by multiple things happening all over the world. Now, something that's happening right now that Andrea Salinas is blaming for the high price of gasoline is the situation in Iran. The Strait of Hormuz is being blocked by Iran. That's preventing the shipping of oil coming to things going in and things going out. So the president is attacking Iran, bombing certain places, destroying their military infrastructure, preventing them from being able to launch attacks on anybody in that particular part of the world. And so it is having an effect on the price of gas. So really what the debate hinges on is whether you think that what Donald Trump is doing in the Middle East, in Iran, is a good thing or a bad thing. And now, me personally, I think that it's a necessary thing. It's not necessarily good or bad, it's a necessary thing. It's just like, I don't know, there are certain things that you do every day of your life. Not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but it is a necessary thing. In order for the United States to maintain its position as a leader of the free world, in order for the United States to project the image of leader of the free world, in order for the United States to be an effective leader of the free world, there are certain things we have to do, and those things that we have to do, those necessary things, we aren't doing those things to make friends. We aren't doing those things to make enemies. We are doing those things because they are necessary. They need to be done. And with Iran, we're talking about a government that recently killed 30,000 of its own people. Now, the people of Iran don't consider themselves to be part of the Islamic Republic. The people of Iran consider themselves to be Persian. You'll ask them to say, what language do you speak? Persian. What nationality are you? Persian. What part of the world do you come from? Persia. Okay. So they consider themselves predominantly to be Persian. Okay, they consider the Islamic Republic to be interfering with their lifestyle because Persian people never lived under such an oppressive regime. For thousands and thousands of years, the Persian Empire was actually known as a very, very liberal kind of regime. You could be Christian, you could be Jewish, you could be Islamic, you could be anything you want in the Persian Empire. The people who ran the Persian Empire were actually very, very liberal with their lifestyle policies. When the Islamic Republic took over in Iran, that kind of thing stopped. And so the Iranian people, and this was like 48, 50 years ago, something like that, the Iranian people, the Persian people living in Iran, want to go back to that time where the people who were running their country didn't kill them for protesting in the streets. Now, another thing that the Iranian government has done is they've gotten their military leaders to get on television and say, look, there are these airplanes that are going to come in and they're going to bomb these military targets. If we take your children who are 8, 9, 10 years old and we put your children in front of these military targets, then if they bomb these military targets, they will be killing children. And we could put on television all around the world that these military airplanes are killing children. So the Iranian government is telling people, just regular people, bring your children, put them in front of these military targets, and put their lives in jeopardy so that we can win a publicity war, so that we can make these people look bad because they're killing children in order to get to a military target. They're telling people to do that. That is a horrible, horrible government. And I don't want that government to maintain control over these people in Iran. The Iranian people, I've worked with the Iranian people. I've worked with people, I've gone to school with Iranian people here in America. And they're decent, caring, good people. They are exactly the kind of people who we want to be in control of this Persian land, this huge Persian area. We want them to be in control over there. They're wonderful, kind, caring, good people. And like I said, they lived there for thousands of years before this happened. And so they want to return to that. Now, another thing that Iran is doing is they are financing terrorism throughout Africa. At any given moment, there are Christians in Africa who are being killed by Islamic extremists. Now, the Islamic faith is a beautiful and wonderful faith. I have read the Quran. I've shown the Quran. I don't have it right here, but I said there, I put the Quran over here, and I read from the Quran. This is what the Quran says. It's a terrific book. I highly recommend, if you don't know anything about the Islamic faith, if you don't know anything about Muslim people, go to, the 6th Congressional District here, we're really close to Salem. We're really close to the Salem Islamic Center. Go to the Salem Islamic Center and ask the people running the place about, what are your questions about the Islamic faith? And they'll answer them. They'll show you here in the Quran, this is where it says this is where it says that, and the other. And you will walk away with a better understanding of the Islamic faith. The Islamic faith does not tell people to go out and kill Christians. There's no part in the Islamic faith that says that. That is part of somebody else's teachings. Okay, so what these people, these Islamic extremists, they are Muslims, and Muslim people do not believe in killing other people, but these extremists are paying them to go out and kill Christians. And that money is coming from Iran. Millions and millions of dollars is coming from Iran, paying these people to kill Christians. And so the Iranian government is financing terrorism. The Iranian government has murdered just recently 30,000 of its own people, and the Iranian government is telling people to bring their children to military targets so that if they get killed, the Iranian government can say, look, the military is killing, the Americans and the Israelis are killing children. That is not a government that I want anywhere on the planet Earth. And that is not a government that I want to be in control of these Persian people. And it would be irresponsible of the United States as the leader of the free world to allow this kind of thing to continue. I mean, when World War II came around, America went in and helped get rid of Hitler and in his bad influences. In American history, of course, the South had slaves. The North wanted to abolish slavery. So we fought the Civil War to abolish slavery. When we had taxation without representation, the American Revolution was fought in order to assure that every human being was given the right of life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. So we in America, as the leaders of the free world, have to consider our position and have to consider what can we do to help the people, the Persian people who live in Iran, who are living under this oppressive regime. What are we going to do? Are we just going to sit around and let these people do whatever they want to these wonderful, amazing human beings who live in Iran? Or are we going to do something about it? And if we do something about it, what's going to be the cost? Yes, the cost is going to be higher gas prices. Okay, higher gas prices. But I mean, if some government official came along during World War II and said, we could help Europe to get rid of Hitler, but higher gas prices, So, I mean, would you have approved of not getting rid of Hitler so that you don't pay high gas prices? Back during the American Civil War, would you have said, we would like to abolish slavery, but higher cotton prices, I mean, is that what you would say? During the American Revolution, would you have said, yeah, we should really get rid of the English, but, the cost of living. So America has always tried to be on the right side of history. The American Revolution, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. The American Civil War, abolish slavery. World War II, get rid of Hitler. Okay, right now we are in a situation where, as the leaders of the free world, we have an opportunity to help the people, the Persian people living in Iran, to stand up to an oppressive regime that should not be in control of people who are decent, wonderful human beings like the Persian people living in that part of the world. Okay, so that's finish off with this now. Okay, so looking beyond the pump, and this is what I was just talking about. We're the world leaders. So many factors, many miles, one price at the pump. Global events, global impact. So America does not operate in isolation, and that's something we have to know. So, like I said, with the global economy, oil produced in one country is transported to another and consumed in another. Everything is connected: prices, supply chain, jobs, economy, security, and our daily lives. What happens in one part of the world affects all of us. Understanding the connections helps us to understand the cost. And why geography matters? Well, you've got the Persian Gulf there, home of the world's largest oil reserves. Well, actually, yeah, the Strait of Hormuz is the critical choke point for about 20% of the world's oil. The Red Sea is the vital route for energy and global trade. The Suez Canal is a shorter path between Asia and Europe. Now, all of these areas are places that are affected by terrorism that is supported by the Iranian regime. So the support for terrorism by Iran is driving the price of trade up considerably. So it's not just what Donald Trump is doing is he's trying to prevent terrorism from having such a pronounced effect on global trade. See, the terrorists need more money. And this is the way they're going to get more money, is by choking off trade. And we don't want them to get money at all. So we're doing something to prevent the terrorists from slowing down global trade. Okay, so that's what's happening over there, all right? The world doesn't end at our borders. So American families matter, so do billions of other people. Leadership requires seeing both. And the leadership question, the choices leaders make affect our neighbors and the world. Should leaders focus only on local consequences or broader consequences as well? Great leaders don't choose just one side. They consider the full picture. And that's what we have to do in America. We have to consider the full picture. We are the leaders of the free world. There's short-term thinking versus long-term thinking. And this is what Andrea Salinas is doing, is she is giving us short-term thinking. She's saying, well, look, gas prices are higher now. All we have to do is give the terrorists everything they want and gas prices will come back down. So we obviously can't give the terrorists everything that they want. So we're going to have to endure the consequences to leadership decisions. We don't do this to be popular. We do this so that we can be on the right side of history, you see. So the immediate pain and future stability. The immediate pain, of course, is higher costs of the pump, frustration, pressure for quick fixes, and short-term relief that may create long-term problems. Focusing only on today's pain can lead to more instability tomorrow. Future stability is energy security and reliability, a strong economy and jobs, safer world, and strong alliances. Investing today for a more prosperous tomorrow. Thinking ahead builds a stronger, more secure future. Wise leaders balance today's challenges with tomorrow's opportunities. Now, the central thesis here is that good leadership requires balance, local interests, national interests, and global consequences, the impact of our decisions on the world. So the best leaders look near, the wisest look far. Okay, so what we want is wise leadership, because what happens in the next 20, 30, 50 years is very, very important. Remember, the sixth part of the preamble to the Constitution, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. See, we want the world to be a good place to live in after we're dead. Okay, I'm 62 years old. I've worked my whole life to make sure that that the family is taken care of, that all the things that need to be taken care of are taken care of with the politics and like that. And I'm not doing that because I want a better right now for me. I'm doing that because the next generation and the generation after that and the generation after that, we need to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. And so that's why we look far into the future. Balanced leadership builds a stronger future. So, and what is leadership? Leadership is responsibility, not popularity. We make the hard choices, put others before yourself, do what is right, accept the consequences, stay focused on the long term. We do not chase applause or avoid hard choices, focus on short-term gain, fear criticism, or seek power, not purpose. True leadership isn't about being liked, it's about doing what's right. Leadership is not a reward, it is a commitment. And the burden of leadership, well, leadership isn't easy, it's necessary. Leaders often face difficult choices. No option is perfect. We get high stakes, impact many, trade-offs are inevitable, pressure is constant. Every choice has its cost. Uncertainty is always present. Someone will be disappointed. You carry the consequences. And great leaders don't avoid difficult choices. They accept the burden and choose anyway. Let's think about D-Day in Europe. Thousands of people died. Thousands of people died trying to secure Europe from what Adolf Hitler was doing. I mean, that's a very difficult choice for a leader. The American leadership, the president, the generals and like this, they knew that thousands of Americans would die on the beach during D-Day. But they made that choice anyway because they knew that Hitler had to be dealt with. The fascist regime had to be dealt with. These are difficult choices, and they have to be made. In order for America to have been on the right side of history, these choices had to be made. Same thing with the American Civil War, same thing with the American Revolution. Difficult choices have to be made. So this is what we're doing now. So the leader of the free world, a title of a responsibility and a lasting role. Not just a nation, a leadership that matters globally. Our decisions reach, our values inspire, our leadership counts. What does that phrase mean? It means the United States is seen as a champion of freedom, democracy, and human dignity around the world. Why has it existed for decades? Because America has stood for freedom, supported allies, led in times of crisis, and promoted a better future for generations. Remember, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Leadership is earned, trust is built, influence is earned. We defend freedom, build strong alliances, support peace and stability, we promote prosperity and human dignity, and we lead by example. This inspires the world. The American influence, a force for good around the world. America influences trade, security, technology, finance, and diplomacy. So American influence builds a stronger, safer, and more prosperous world. That's what we do. Why other nations watch us? American decisions affect everyone. And like I said, it's a planetary economy. Our policies shape global security. Our trade fuels economies. Our innovation drives technology and progress. Our financial system supports markets worldwide. Our diplomacy influences solutions to global challenges. When America acts or decides, the world feels the impact. When America leads, the world responds. That's why other nations watch us every day. Power and responsibility, the two sides of the same coin. Power without responsibility is dangerous. Responsibility without power is ineffective. So true leadership balances power with responsibility. Power gives the ability to act. Responsibility gives the reason to act. Together, they create lasting impact. And the cost of leadership, well, leadership often requires sacrifice. The sacrifices are time away from family and friends, criticism and doubt, stress of difficult decisions, and personal comfort and privacy, carrying the burden of other futures. The costs lead to a safer nation, stronger communities, a more stable world, a better future for generations, a legacy that lasts. Leadership is not it's not about self, it's about serving something greater. You don't lead for recognition, you lead for purpose. You sacrifice for others, you leave behind something better. Now, historical examples here, the Berlin airlift has delivered hope, defended freedom to 1948 through 1949. The U.S. airlifted supplies to West Berlin, standing up to blockade and showing the world our commitment to liberty. The Marshall Plan invested in recovery, built a stronger future. The Marshall Plan, 48 to 52, helped rebuild war-torn Europe. It restored economies and fostered stability and prosperity. NATO, strength and unity, peace through alliance. Since 1949, NATO has unified nations to deter aggression, protect freedom, and promote peace across generations. Different challenges, same commitment to a better world. And why allies matter? Well, partnerships create stability. We're stronger together. Alliance multiply our strength, amplify our influence, and extend our outreach. Stability through partnership, it reduces conflict, builds trust, shares burdens, and adapts to change. Allies today for a more stable tomorrow. Partnerships create stability. Stability builds a better world for all of us. Strength is more than military power. True strength comes from many forces working together. Strength is built on more than force. It's earned, it is respected, it is lasting. A credibility, trust, consistency, and moral authority. Military power can win battles, but true strength builds peace and shapes the future. So why aggression occurs? Aggression often grows when resistance is absent. When resistance is absent, a small provocation, no resistance, perceived weakness, increased demands, expanded aggression, and greater conflict. And this is essentially what the playground bullies do. You get a bully on the playground, he pushes some kid, and that kid doesn't do anything about it. He just, whatever, and that bully's going to come back and push twice as hard and keep pushing and keep pushing, eventually get the kid's lunch money, sneakers, bicycle, whatever, until the kid learns to stand up for himself, herself. This is playground politics. Bullies exist throughout the world, and this is the way bullies act. They make a minor aggression, and if nobody stands up, if nobody does anything about it, the bully knows how far the bully can go. It's not just a playground. This is things that you learn throughout business, through neighbors, everything. So yeah, playground politics, they echo throughout your life. Okay, when resistance is present, it deters future aggression, protects people and values, preserves peace and stability, builds stronger alliances. So strong, early, and clear resistance. It sets boundaries and it preserves the peace. Aggression tests for weakness. Resistance protects freedom. So the principle of deterrence: strength today, peace tomorrow. Deterrence means making aggression too costly, demonstrating capability and resolve, maintaining stability through strength. Deterrence is not aggression. It's not preparing for war. It's not seeking conflict. When potential aggressors know the cost of their actions, that the cost of their actions will far outweigh any gain, they choose peace. Deterrence works, peace endures. Same thing with bullies. What is the psychology of bullies? How the bully psychology tests boundaries. You observe, you probe, you measure the response, you expand, and you escalate. And this is how bullies test boundaries. It is a perpetual cycle. It happens everywhere. And this is why it's very important for kids to learn how to deal with bullies on the playground so that they understand the effect bullies have on their lives later on in life when they're older. Bullies don't start with war, they start with tests. They probe for weakness. The bully mindset is to seek power, lack empathy, they feel entitled, they fear consequences, and they escalate over time. So if we clear boundaries, change the game. Set boundaries, enforce consistently, demonstrate strength, remove the reward, and build deterrence. Bullies respect one thing, and that's strength and clear boundaries. So this is how you deal with bullies. So here we have the individual, the psychology of the bully in every area. The schoolyard, you've seen bullies there. The workplace, there's bullies there. International, test alliances, resolve. And it's always the same story. Bullies test the alliances and the resolve of other people. They see how far they can go, and once they realize they can go that far, they keep going that far. So the cost of appeasement. Short-term peace, long-term danger. Appeasement doesn't end aggression, it invites more. So historical examples, the Munich Agreement allowed Hitler allowed Hitler to take the Sudetenland. Italy and Ethiopia, League of Nations did little to stop the invasion, and the policy of appeasement in the 1930s repeated attempts to satisfy aggressors in hopes of avoiding war. And of course, this led to World War II. Modern examples, Russia and Crimea in 2014, China and the South China Sea to the present, Iran and the proxies is ongoing. And this is what we are fighting against, is Iran and its terrorist proxies. We realize that appeasement isn't peace. It's a down payment on a greater conflict. And that's why I mean, we look at the high gas prices now, and some people say, yeah, Trump, we got to get Trump out of office because high gas prices. If we allow the terrorists to win, gas prices will probably come down. But we will be living in a world that is dominated by terrorists, and we can't allow that. Remember to assure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity. Terrorists do not respect life, liberty, or pursuit of happiness. Terrorists only respect power, money, force, aggression. Okay, that's what terrorists do. That's what the bullies do. Okay, so the debate here is, it's not a question of if, it's a question of how. Should aggression be opposed? Yes, opposing aggression is the right choice. Moral clarity, universal, non-negotiable, not the question. This is where we all agree. How? Well, a strategy. What approach achieves lasting peace and security? The tools: diplomacy, deterrence, alliance, strength. How do we use them? Timing and resolve. How do we act early, consistently, and decisively? The path we choose today shapes the world we live in tomorrow. So we agree on the way. The debate is about how. So the tools that are available, multiple tools, strategic choices, shared goal, peace, and security. Strength isn't just military, it's wisdom, unity, and resolve. First, diplomacy, talk first, solve later. Sanctions, targeted pressure, clear message. Alliances, stronger together, united for peace. Military deterrence, prepared, credible, and effective. Strength prevents war, readiness protects peace. The right tool, the right time, for the right purpose. Our goal is not conflict. Our goal is a secure, peaceful future. There are no easy answers. Every option carries risk. No choice is without cost. Delaying has consequences. Acting, overreacting, and underreacting, they all have consequences. So what to remember here: define your goal clearly. Understand the trade-offs, consider the long-term effects, stay united, stay prepared, and reassess, adapt, and stay vigilant. Diplomacy: talk, engage, seek common ground. Sanctions: apply pressure, increase the cost. Alliances: strength in unity, share the load. Military deterrence: prepared, credible, and ready. There are no easy answers, only informed decisions. The strength is not in having all the answers, but in facing hard choices together. Responsible strength: the strength paired with wisdom. Power without wisdom is dangerous. Wisdom without strength is powerless. Together they create lasting peace and a better future. So, with our strength, we deter aggression. With wisdom, the ability to choose. So strength is the ability to act. Wisdom is the ability to choose. Okay? Responsible strength in action is to be prepared, be principled, be proportional, be united, be forward-looking. True strength isn't just what you can do, it's in what you choose to do. So leadership means difficult decisions. Not all decisions are popular. Easy, popular, short-term comfort with lower gas prices. Right, unpopular, long-term impact, higher gas prices. Leaders don't lead to be liked. You'll face criticism, you'll be questioned, you will lose support, you will stand alone, but you lead anyway. Leaders lead to do what is right, protect what matters, think long-term, stay focused on the mission, not the noise, leave a legacy. Remember, we're America. We want to be on the right side of history. And standing up to the Iranian regime is staying on the right side of history, regardless of any increase in gas prices. Courage is making the call when it's hard. Leadership is owning the consequences. Difficult decisions, lasting results. And our rights universal? Yes, because we are all human. Remember our Declaration of Independence. No matter where we are born, what we believe, or how we live, our rights belong to all of us, all of God's children. We are all endowed by our Creator with inalienable rights: life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, human dignity. Okay? So rights are not a privilege, they are our shared humanity. The Declaration's principles. The principles apply to all people. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that's all people throughout the world. Right now, the Iranian regime is murdering its own people and supporting terrorism throughout the world and putting children in the way of danger. Good people don't do that. Good governments don't do that. We want life, liberty, equality, dignity for all. It's inherent, not granted. Universal, not conditional. So the shared humanity, human rights, are not confirmed by borders. The same tears, same fears, same hopes, same love, same dreams, same right to dignity and safety. Different places, same human family. Borders define nations, not our worth. Citizenship may vary, rights do not. Compassion has no boundaries. Every person everywhere equal in dignity. When we protect human rights, we protect each other. Now, the moral question here: do we bear any responsibility beyond ourselves? And this is something, the world is big, our impact can be too. We may not choose where we are born, but we can choose how we respond. Responsibility is a choice, compassion is our calling. It's a biblical thing. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. If my brother needs help, I will go and help my brother. And that's, the moral question there. So, a world connection. Technology has shrunk distance. Once distance kept us apart, now technology brings us together. Technology connects people, ideas, and opportunities like never before. We share one planet, we share one future. Connection is our power. A message bridges miles, conversation crosses oceans, an idea sparks change. Help reaches faster, and learning knows no borders. So suffering is universal. How should free nations respond? Well, different places, different stories, same human pain. Free nations should respond with compassion, solidarity, support, advocacy, and action. Our shared humanity demands our response. Gas prices can go up, but freedom is not just a gift we cherish, it is a responsibility we must live. Freedom imposes a duty. Indifference is not an option. When others suffer, our response defines us. Humanitarian leadership examples from history. Roel Wallenberg, Sweden, 1944. Countless lives saved through courage and compassion. Albert Schweitzer, France, 1950s. Lifelong service to vulnerable with humanity and love. Martin Luther King Jr. He advanced justice and human dignity for millions. Desmond Tutu helped transform a nation through truth, justice, and reconciliation. Malala Yousafzai, I can't pronounce her name, empowering new generation to learn, lead, and change the world. Leadership is not defined by power, but by service to humanity. Balancing compassion and prudence both matter. Compassion moves us to care. Prudence helps us to act wisely. Together, they lead to responsible and lasting impact. Compassion, where we see the humanity, we feel the pain, we are moved to help. Prudence is where we assess the reality, we consider the consequences, we choose the best path. When we balance compassion with prudence, we help more people, reduce the harm of unintended consequences, use resources wisely, build trust and stronger partnerships. We create solutions that are sustainable and just. Compassion without prudence can be unsustainable. Prudence without compassion can be inhumane. Together, they make a difference. The limits of power. America cannot solve every problem. We have strength, we have values, but the world's challenges are too big and complex for any one nation to solve alone. The world is bigger than any nation. Crises emerge every day, conflicts have deep roots. Resources are finite. Threats cross borders. Changes take time. We may not be able to solve every problem, but we can be part of the global solution. But we cannot ignore every problem. Neither extreme works. Ignoring suffering continues, injustice grows, instability spreads, our values lose meaning. Overextending, our resources are stretched thin, promises exceed ability, focus is lost, we risk doing more harm than good. The challenge is discernment and responsible action. So we take the middle path. Compassion without discernment is naive. Discernment without compassion is cold. We choose responsible compassion. So the Oregon driver. Higher gas prices affect families. Yes, every price at the pump ripples through everyday life. Longer commutes, higher costs at the store, tighter household budgets, tougher choices, less savings, more stress. Gas isn't just a commodity, it's the cost of opportunity. Behind every gallon is a family. When gas prices rise, families pay. Stability at the pump means stability at home. But the concerns are legitimate, acknowledging real hardship. People are feeling the pressure, rising costs, housing struggles, stretched paycheck, debt and uncertainty, future anxiety. Their concerns are valid. Acknowledging them is the first step to earning trust and finding solution. Compassion starts with listening. Recognizing hardship is not a weakness, it's leadership. And that's what a good leader does. Because real solutions begin with real understanding. And that's what Andrea Salinas is leaving out when she takes the really quick and dirty kind of solution. Donald Trump's in office, the Republicans are bad, gas prices are high. There's a bigger picture. She's not including you. The two things can be true. We don't have to choose one over the other. Costs can be real. Broader goals can be important. Resources are limited. Families feel the impact. Timing and priorities matter. Our values matter. Stability beyond our borders affects us at home. Leadership has a purpose. Wise leadership finds the balance. Recognize real costs, pursue meaningful goals, make decisions that honor both truths. Balance is not compromise. It's responsible leadership, and leadership requires trade-offs. No serious policy is free. Every choice we make comes with a cost. Every policy involves a trade-off. So good leaders don't avoid trade-offs, they make them wisely and transparently. There is no perfect choice. There is only the best choice for the moment. Leadership is not about avoiding costs, it's about pursuing purpose. The importance of context here. Every policy exists within a larger picture. The world is complex. History matters. Right and legal aren't always simple. Economics shape options. We are stronger together. People expect leadership that reflects their values. Ignore context and good policies can fail. Understand context and better outcomes are possible. Great leaders look beyond the issue to the whole picture. The representative's responsibility, and remember this is David Russ. David Russ is the person that I'm supporting now because he is what I think is a very good leader because he looks at the bigger picture. The three perspectives, one responsibility. Good representatives think beyond the moment and beyond borders, represent local interests, understand national interests, and consider global consequences. And remember, the whole purpose of the House of Representatives is to pass the laws that create national policy, as supporting life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness worldwide has to be the policy that America supports collectively. Balance today's needs with tomorrow's impact, local voices, national purpose, global awareness. Wise representatives make better decisions for the people at home and abroad. Thinking beyond politics, we move beyond party labels. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Am I a Republican? Am I a Democrat? It depends on the values of the leaders. I don't support a party, I support values. So we move beyond party labels. Don't get stuck on labels, divisions, assumptions, and gridlock. Judge people for ideas, see problems as us versus them, ignore complexity and nuance, protect positions instead of solving problems. That's what happens when you get stuck on labels. If you go beyond labels, you listen with respect, seek to understand different perspectives, evaluate ideas on their merit, and work together for the common good. Good leaders listen, think critically, and put people and principles above politics. Better ideas, stronger communities, a brighter future. Thinking like a statesman, the difference between politics and leadership. Politics is focused on winning today. They seek power, driven by opinion, you divide, think short term, measure success by a win, approval, and optics. Leadership focuses on what's right, on being on the right side of history. We seek purpose, driven by principles, unities, think long term, and measure success by impact, integrity, and leaving a legacy. We rise above the moment, we put country before party, pursue the common good, build a better future for all. Politics asks, what can I get? Statesmen ask, what can we leave behind? The nation deserves statesmen. The central question here is, what kind of world are we helping create? Today's choices tomorrow's world. Our answer today builds the world we live in tomorrow. Let's choose wisely. Leadership beyond, the final conclusion, leadership beyond our borders. The test of leadership is not whether decisions are easy. The test of leadership is whether leaders are willing to see the entire picture. America does not live in a vacuum. Our choices affect others, and with influence comes responsibility. Leadership is not about power, it's about purpose. Let's lead today for a better tomorrow for all. Our world, our choices, our responsibility. Leadership beyond our borders builds a future worth inheriting. And this is my raccoon of completed presentations. Thank you for watching. And these are my 10 objectives. I've gone over these before. Research into immunotherapy for curing cancer and like this stuff. But, I support President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. And this is David Russ for United States Congress in 2026. America first, 100% for God, the Constitution, and you. We can save this great nation. Together with God's help, we can't do without you. So a voice for Oregon's 6th Congressional District. Now, what is, okay, I'm a MAGA Republican, yes, but make Oregon's 6th Congressional District America's greatest congressional district is my primary thing. And you can see there with the number 6 there, that is Oregon's 6th Congressional District. We contain Salem, part of Portland. So that's my presentation for today, and I hope that I didn't make Andrea Salinas look bad in the context there. I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm just saying that she has a different style of leadership. She's probably better off for the state government, because the state government is the government that affects all of the local policies, which people get what, how federal funds are divided up amongst the parts of the state. That seems to be what she is a little bit better qualified for. What David Russ is going to do, David Russ, with my assistance, we're going to look at the bigger picture. We're going to look at problems as a whole, as a part of America's national policy. So we're going to try to get money back to Oregon so that we can do the 10 things that I was talking about there. We're going to try to pass the laws that shape national policy a little bit better than they've been up to now. And that's the major concern. But today's slideshow, I just wanted to go over the importance of, yes, we tend to act locally, but we have to think globally. We have to remember America is the leader of the free world. We have earned this position. We need to understand that as the people who are in this position, we owe a great responsibility to everybody in the world who wants life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That is, it's more than just a motto. These are the founding principles of America, the greatest country in the world. And if we need to suffer a little bit now for helping the world to achieve life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, I think it's worth it. We in America have to understand that leadership is sacrifice. Leadership is responsibility. We're in this position because we earned this position. So since we earned this position, we have to do what's right and stay on the right side of history. So anyways, that is my presentation for today. Thank you very much for listening, and take care, and God bless.